Hello, my name is Mike Dawson. I work for Education and Training Division. I'm very happy to be given this opportunity to talk about Kuroobi English. These books, which I love, and through these books I've actually again fell in love with Master. So I want to share with you how also I study these Kuroobi books, and many people are surprised why an English person is studying an English book. Actually, I learn a lot from these books, and I want to share that today as well with you. First, I was asked, what do you think about these books when they first come out? And so I picked up the book, read the pages, and I was surprised at the level of English. English is quite high, also actually very high, and also the topics and the news clips also were very interesting. However, the more I read, the more I discovered. So for me, I used the book as a word of light. So I remember one sentence, make up your mind to do it. Just make up your mind to do it. And so I wrote that sentence down, I put on a piece of paper, I memorized it, I recited every day. I woke up, I went to work with the attitude, make up your mind to just do it. And actually kind of changed my life and kind of made me regain my confidence and also passion to do my mission. So that was my first step of Kuroobi. Then I attended English classes a few times, and the more I studied the book, the more I realized that it's more than an English book. It's not about studying English only. What I discovered next was that you can see things from Lord Alcantari's perspective. You're actually taking on a journey to see how Master sees. This is quite unique. So we recite the Dharma of the right mind, we study the teachings so that we can become closer to Master. But when you study the English books, you're actually seeing at the same time what Master sees. For me, this is hard to even explain how wonderful that is. But that was kind of my next discovery. Then I went to Tokyo Shinkan and joined a special English study seminar for those staff who want to go overseas. And we studied number 5. And in this is a news report about a hurricane in America. And there were groups were made into a debating class, so they had to debate the points of this news clips. And the more you study it, you have to study the arguments, and then you have to present. Well, during that process, I was shocked to learn that this is the perfect example. If you were studying at university a philosophy class for 1 year, then this would be the perfect book. This would be the perfect argument. I couldn't believe that Master would pick one newsletter story, which at first sounds simple, and then turn it into the most deepest and most meaningful argument I'd ever seen. It's the most perfect argument I've ever seen. So I couldn't believe, you start off with this news clip about the hurricane, then it talks about what is justice, then it talks about what is human happiness, then it talks about what is mercy, what is happiness, what's it mean to be human. It talks about perspective from Descartes, from Aristotle. And so I couldn't believe just how good it was. And from then onwards, I just fell in love. I couldn't stop reading. And so now I read all the time. So I think that if you this is actually good for English people to increase their English. So actually some of this is difficult for me. So I can imagine how more difficult it is for a non-English person to study these books. But if you can master this or even improve a lot of your understanding of these books, then you're better English than maybe average English person. So it's actually such a privilege and such a blessing, these books. A few weeks ago, I went to Seichi's Shoshinkan, and an unsuri was very kind to me, welcomed me through the door, gave me a cup of coffee, so kind to me. And I was thinking, he's very kind, what's he want? And he said, I'm studying English, so, and I'm enjoying my English, and I said, well, what are you studying? And he showed me this book, which has my picture on it. So he didn't know it was me. So I said, oh, that's me. And he couldn't believe his eyes. He was so happy. He asked me to sign. But he asked me, can you give me English lesson? So we had an English lesson. But what shocked me was he said, do other countries other than Japan have the same suffering that we do? I don't think they suffer the same we do. Couldn't believe it. I thought, it was kind of shocking. I mean, don't you read the news, or don't you know what's happening in other countries? So it made me realize how important, again, it is to study these books. Because through these books, you can learn what's happening in other countries. You can learn what Master thinks is important, and you can change your perspective. So again, it's not just learning about English, it's about learning new perspectives and learning how to communicate. So I've said this before, but in Australia and maybe even New York, there's a lot of immigrants who learning English as second language. A lot of their English is half English, right? So for example, in Australia, we have Italians who have sell business selling fruit or selling whatever. They say things like 2 kilo banana, $2 kilo banana, for example. They say, come to my shop, it's the best. A simple English. But behind that English is that perspective that I think they have the mind of wealth, which is, I want you to be happy. I'm happy if you're happy. These are great products. They're going to make you happy. That's what they're saying. But they're not saying that. They're just saying, this is great. This is the best. You'll be happy. I'm happy, you're happy, like this. So I think they know what is important, even though the English is not perfect. So again, I think that studying these textbooks, you're learning that perspective. What is most important? Of course, you have to learn the English, but you're learning a lot more than that. I also wanted to talk about a little bit about what I did. What I said at the start is that if you pick a sentence, then practice that in your daily life, then you can be happy. So, for example, I picked up this one, number 10, Kuroobi. And in this it says, there's a line, it says, our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. How true is that? So the point is, what I want to say is that if you have a meeting at work, you have a seminar, why not try and pick one sentence from the Kuroobi and use it in the meeting? So what I mean is you have to think how you use that sentence, how you will convey the meaning of that sentence to your boss, to your colleagues, and how you can use it. Then you'll learn about what the true meaning of the sentence is. The true meaning is not what's being said exactly, right? So I think it's also a kind of form of love if you can think about how you can put an English sentence into practice. And I think it'll be fun too. So don't give up, take one more step, and please practice it. Lastly, I just want to say that I think these Kuroobi English textbooks are kind of like missionary tools as well. So these are tools to realize your own mission, but also to contribute to Master's mission. And the more I study these books, the more I realize that. So I feel that if hard to explain in words, but if all the books in the world disappeared, if all the newspapers disappeared, if there's no news, you lost all the history. As long as you had these books, you'd be okay. I really do believe that. And I know that the Dharma of the Right Mind and the Laws of the Sun are our most important books. But I don't want to say, and I want to say, it's almost as important. I really believe so. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much.
昨日帰ってきたうちの三男が四国行って帰ってきたんですが、四国の私の母のところ行って帰ってきたんですけども、四国のばあちゃんが黒帯英語やってるっちゅうんで「嘘それは嘘でしょ」いくらなんだから80字であれ無理だよって難しすぎるやれるわけないからそれは無理80字で黒帯は無理ですネイティブがあれやってもう60点70点取ったら喜んでるぐらいなんでテストやっても取れないんでだいたい英検の1級ぐらいだったら10点や20点ぐらい取れないんですテスト作ってうち受けさせてますけど職員取れないんですよ30点も取れたらもうバンバン台で向こうの大学卒業してる人でも解けないぐらいのレベルなんですがそんなはずはないってこっちが聞いたらいや英語読んでるとは言ってない日本語読んでると言ってなるそれなら理解がいって日本語を一生懸命読んでるらしいでもまあ偉いですよね確かに、記事の部分日本語でも英字新聞の日本語訳が出てるわけですから現代ただいまのトピックスっていうかテーマになっているところをこう読んでるってことは一応勉強ですよねだから英語でも日本語であろうが情報としては同じですのでこういうことが今問題になっているってことを日本語で読んでるっていうああそうか日本語で黒いびっくりしたけどそうか日本語で読んでるのかってそれでもでも大したもんだと日本語でも難しいですよね英字新聞の中とかでも特にやっぱり問題の大きいなんていうか時代が変わっていく関係があるようなところを選んで組んでやるので日本語でも読み取るのは難しいことだと思いますが日本語のところだけでも読んでるっていうもちろん私の本も全部読んでるそうで大体私のも2時間ぐらいで読めるそうだし講話も聞いているそうなんですけれどもなかなか60代70代80代でやっぱりなんか頭が良くなっていってるような感じがしてしょうがないのでやっぱり努力はするもんだなと思いますね。なんかそういうことで鍛えればできるもんだなって。